Cock-a-doodle-doo! Good morning there, listener. Oh, do I look a little freaking wired, huh? Bloodshot eyes with gasoline shooting down my keister? Well, that's because I've been up all night winning freaking boatloads of nickels on the King of Queens slot machine over at the Sinking Sands Casino right over there in Learmont Street. Yeah, my hands are still shaking, buddy. That's probably from the 4,000 nickels I won. Or, I'll be honest, maybe it's the 12 Red Bull gins I had to stay awake and stay positive. Because you gotta stay positive when you're on a hot streak. Woo! What were we talking about? Why am I here? Who are you people? Oh, my God, that's right. We're on Über Cinco, the podcast game show where we deep dive top fives, baby. And I'm your host, the Fire Lord himself, Mitch Brinkman. And today we've got two cads on the show. The only man I know who can play 14 hours straight of winning poker in person or online. It's Nathan Hennenfent. Hello, Nathan.
Oh, hello. It's so good to be back on another hot streak after 13 years of losing sessions. Oh, so good.
Woo, he's on fire. And his opponent, the man with the plan to get free hotel stays as he keeps hitting triple cherries while he's shitting on a pot.
Excuse me?
Apparently that's where I hit my triple cherry.
That's how the slots work on the phones, right? You hit the triple cherries and bing, 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 bing.
I don't think you need to give Vegas any more ideas about where they need to put slot machines. But if they put a slot machine in the John, my legs would fall asleep so fast that you would have to call an ambulance to get me off that thing.
So, oh, my God.
Oh, God.
Brian Ernst, hello.
Hi. My legs are numb, sorry. I was on a hot streak in there.
Also, listener, if you were on the toilet now, get up because this episode's going to be good, okay? So find a spot that'll be comfortable and all your appendages will be awake by the end. Okay, today, it's clear now. You guys will be listing off your top 5 hot streaks. 777s abound. Let it ride, baby. All in goodness. Here we go. Also, to our listeners at home, don't forget, check out the new bizbear.biz, which just throws you straight to ubercinco.com. It's new. It's brand glitzy, freaking cute now. We redid it. It's really awesome. Just go check it out. Share it with your friends and family. Send them a link. But first, of course, we start. I slow it down because we need to learn about the rules.
Each player in the den has spent time with today's topic arranging their top 5 answers in order of importance. Those answers have been submitted to the host who will moderate the game, awarding points to the player with the most poignant answer.
Starting with their number 5 choice, we will move up the ranks until we reach each of their top answers. But if both contestants happen to have the same answer on their list, well, we have an Uber stare down.
You will hear the official Über Cinco siren, and both players must reveal their answer and what number they ranked their submission. An Uber stare down is all or nothing, with one player earning 3 points. After all answers have been read, the host will reveal the final score.
Okay, now you know how to play the game. And I want to tell you, stick around, okay, to the end of the show. Because I, your host, the Fire Lord himself, is going to drop hot flames all over your ears with my Fast 5. And that is Tiffany items for that special someone. Ooh, that sounds good. Okay, and of course, as host, I get to make a house rule. Today, it's very simple. If your hot streak sounds like something I could do, 2 bonus points. It's as simple as a $6 Salisbury steak at the Binion's Diner after 7 hours of roulette and cheap whiskey. So here we go. Brian, you left me sitting in the dressing room couch area at Neiman Marcus attached to the MGM for over 45 minutes as you tried on fedoras and loafers, never coming out once to let me see. But damn it if you didn't choose the fedora with your name on it. And for that, I'm still going to have Nathan start us off with this number 5. Hot streak. Nathan, give us your number 5 hot streak, please.
All right. Well, I got to start with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I
love
day,
that. Bet on you. Always bet on you.
Got to bet on yourself. And if I was going to bet on myself in one competition, it would, of course, be the sport of kings, badminton.
Oh, very
Oh,
classy. Very classy.
And this is 100% true. I have never in my entire life lost a game of badminton.
He's
Not
a
even
natural-born shuttlecocker, folks.
I have mastered the shuttlecock,
You have
the
a quick
racket,
wrist.
and the net.
Very quick wrist.
That's right.
Mhm.
But I've never lost. We used to play at my grandparents' house. We would set up the net, and I just never lost. And then we played. It wasn't a ton at the grandparents' house, but I happened to never lose, and I took note of that in my head because I was a kid, and I was like, I've never lost. This is really nice. This not losing thing. I like this. Then we played in PE. And we played in doubles.
Wow. That's a classy PE. My God.
It was.
You guys were callers to class too?
We were dressed in all white. Yes.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
Yeah, we had the white booty shorts and the white polo, But I again wasn't losing. And then the teacher was like, all right, well, we gotta this motherfucker's gotta lose. And so I was then paired with for the next 3 years, I was paired with a individual who lacked any mobility or athletic talent in any capacity. So basically I was playing 2-on-1, and I happened to not lose. I happened to keep the streak going all the way through freshman year, which was the last year I had PE, and I never lost. And I really enjoyed badminton, but now I can never play again. I haven't played in 20 years because I've been undefeated lifetime, and if I ever lose, which it's a statistical anomaly that I didn't.
Yeah.
But if I did, it would ruin the idea that I've never lost at something ever. I have that. But if I ever play badminton, I could easily lose.
Yeah.
And then it's over.
Yeah.
But as of this moment right now, Nathan Hendenfent, undefeated, the undisputed badminton champion of Roseville Junior High PE class, and it's not even close.
That's a big belt to wear too. That's not like a little bit of weight around your waist. That's like a 30-pound belt, I feel like, right?
And I've carried it with me every day.
That's impressive.
That's why there's so many lines on my face at this young age.
And that unathletic partner of his, of course, was Jimmy the Flick Wrist Slisman, who is now a 3-time Olympian badminton winner. What a rags to riches story.
I was going to ask how many times you Heisman'd your partner out of the way to get to the shuttlecock.
Basically, yeah, they basically just stood there. But now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't think of it this way. They are also undefeated too. They're probably on a different podcast right now talking about their amazing hot streak in badminton.
Where are they going to find another podcast with 3 white guys where they can just talk about their lives? Come on.
I don't know. Do they have like a category for that on Apple Podcasts? They probably
Yes,
do.
it's called Apple Podcasts.
Well, Nathan, you're getting 2 bonus points for this because you made. First, I was like, I don't know if I could win all the time at badminton, but I know I'm better than your turd of a teammate at the very least. So I'm giving you 2 points for the bonus. And how long did this streak last? How many years?
Well, family, I probably played from like age 5 through whatever.
You never lost as a 5-year-old?
All right, maybe it was later than 5.
Okay.
I don't remember when I first played on the farm, but in school, 6th grade through 9th grade.
Okay. All right. So that's how many? That's like
4 years of school.
4 years of school. So that is, I'm doing quick math here. That's 608 Wednesdays. That's pretty good. 608 Wednesdays. That's nice. Not bad at all. Okay.
First was Tuesdays with Maury. Second is Wednesdays with Nathan.
I'm gonna give you 2 points for the original thing, and then 2 bonus points because I could do that too. I'm sure I could. So yeah. All right, Brian, give us your number 5 hot streak, sir.
My number 5 hot streak made my list because it is a literal hot streak. Of course, I'm talking about the time I miscalculated a fart during a grade school band concert. Now,
oh God,
this is interesting because it
right
happened
when a tuba was playing, or was it?
No, this would have been a little. Let's see, age-wise, probably 12-year-old Brian with a clarinet in his hand.
You were a clarinet guy, okay?
Yeah. So our grade school band uniforms were yellow, like cross over 100% polyester with a giant white cummerbund. And then we had to wear
a cummerbund.
Black
Love
slacks.
a cummerbund.
I did not like the cummerbund because I'm pretty sure I've told either this story or a portion of this story on a previous episode.
Oh,
you got to find the special cummerbunds for the Husky boys.
Oh.
So there's a little
the
extension
extenders,
for
yeah.
the cummerbund if you need once in a while. So
Yep.
there's that. But I forgot what we were playing. All I remember is that this fart happened way too early in the concert. And it happened. And, you know, it's kind of one of those ones where thank God we have cheeks because they worked as a catcher's mitt. And
Oh, what?
yes.
What?
So there was a small issue.
Or was it a big one?
It was small, but it was an exit I did not plan for.
Okay.
So this happens mid-concert, and I have to deal with it. But you know you can clench just right where it doesn't actually touch the pant. That's the key. 'Cause if it touches the pant, that means it's touching the chair.
Yep.
So you stay clenched the right way. You wait for your exit. You do your smiles. Wait for the parents. Hello. Okay. You ditch the clarinet as quickly as you can, and you get to the bathroom you know no one's going to use. You go to the far bathroom by the library.
Smart.
You get in there, and you take a look at the damage. Now, this is still tighty-whitey phase at 12 years old. Those bad boys just went right in the trash can. All right?
Hey, there we go. That's
We
what's, yeah.
Threw them in the trash. We cleaned up. We
Yep.
went home commando. We told no one. And I am sure there's a few listeners who were there with me that night that don't know this story. And we'll be learning about it as they listen. And I cannot wait for that feedback.
I think because I've also ditched underwear before. So Brian, you're immediately getting 2 bonus points because I could also do this. That could be something I could do. So
You could also shit your pants.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
too, listeners at home, if you believe in yourselves, might one day
yep.
shit your pants.
Just try hard enough. Yes.
If you just have enough courage to go pizza, chili, nachos in a 24-hour period, you too can. No, I think about because I've done this before too. I'm like, well, I don't have the tools to make this better, so I just need to burn the forest down and forget about the farm. You know, like I'm just burning it all down and I'm moving.
Because what are you gonna do? You're
Yeah.
fucking second, third chair clarinets here. You're fucking mid screech. What are you gonna do? Conductor, sorry, gotta take a tea. I'll be back. And you do that walk of shame as all the instruments slowly come to an end, and you're just
How many
Shut-
concert musicians at Carnegie Hall, like through the entire run of its existence, do you think have had a little number 2 accident? Because there's got to be at least one, right? You can't be the only person.
it's got to be mainly like tuba players and bassoonists. But yes, I think it's definitely happened.
I've actually heard that there's similar advice you give to someone who's about to play a fancy concert and someone who's about to run a marathon, and that is take a shit before. It's one of the best pieces of advice. It saves you during both a lot of times. So, you know, the
Good for
custodian.
sex too.
Well,
Yes.
yes.
I mean,
That
Anything you're about to do, shit beforehand.
Wait, Nathan, you said it's good force, so I'm gonna write that down because I gotta make sure I'm ready for that when it happens. Okay. But all the custodians in our life, because I'm sure there's so many, like, do you get to a point in your custodial career where you're now mad at the kids for leaving behind their crappy underwear, or do you just feel bad for every kid that has to leave the secret behind? 'Cause I'm sure
I think
it
after
happens
the
at least
first
once a week.
time, after the first time, all the sympathy is gone. The second time you see the poopy underwear, you're not feeling any warmth for your fellow man.
I was
Yeah.
courteous, though. I made sure that it went into the can, into the bag, and then I put paper towels on top of it. So hopefully nobody ever even saw it.
Well, that's
Oh.
you're just a delightful guy.
That's
Yeah.
because it's like, you know
Not
what?
everybody's going to be so courteous.
I know that those bathrooms have shown worse to the lovely custodial staff. And that
Yeah.
is not fair, especially because I have heard of some of the things they found. One person found a shrimp once in the urinal, whole shrimp in a grade school urinal.
Weird.
Yeah.
I'm assuming your grade school never served shrimp.
No, we don't know
Okay.
where it came from.
Okay.
So, like, I think that's a lot more alarming than a pair
That
of
was
poopy
that was
underwear.
actually my favorite Hardy Boys book as a kid was The Case of the Urinal Shrimp.
It was actually a story about bullying and shaming your fellow man. But yeah, it's horrible.
Wow. Okay, these Brian, I'm giving you 3 for that because you also, whether it's true or not, you revealed that some of your closest buds from that time are finding out about this now. That's a great little tip there. Okay, we're going on to our number 4 hot streaks. Nathan, back to you. Keep it sizzling, my dude.
All right, so for my number 4, I wanted to go into the world of rock and roll music.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And I couldn't do just one, so if I had
like
the permission
like
of the court,
and like Alanis Morissette, stuff like that.
Right? if I have the court's permission, I will do a quick rundown of my top 5 album winning streaks leading up to the number 1, which is my number 4. So here we go. Number 5 is the Beatles' 3-album streak: Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper's, 1965 through 1967, all classics. Unbelievable. Number 4, The Smiths, their entire career. The Smiths' self-titled album, Meat is Murder, The Queen is Dead, Strange Ways, Here We Come. Every song a hit, every hit a smack. Number 3, The Rolling Stones, Beggar's Banquet, Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers, Exile on Main Street, 68 to 72. Absolutely in the zone. Number 2, Black Sabbath, their first 6 albums: Black Sabbath, Paranoid, Master of Reality, Volume 4, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and Sabotage. Sabotage being the controversial one, but I listened to it in its entirety yesterday just to make sure I could include it, and let me tell you, it motherfucking rocks. But the number 1 album hot streak, which makes my number 4 on the list, is Led Zeppelin's first 6. Led Zeppelin 1, Led Zeppelin 2, Led Zeppelin 3, Led Zeppelin 4, and what was their 5th album called?
Cinco!
Houses of the Holy. and then the great double album opus, Physical Graffiti. Led Zeppelin's first 6 albums, every single one of them is absolute perfection. And there's a great quote that says talking about music or writing about music is like dancing about architecture. So I'm not gonna just go through a track by track list of the first 6 albums. I just suggest you listen to it. But what I will say is so this was from 69 to 75, and in my opinion, as a Led Zeppelin scholar, Zeppelin's actual peak was 69 to 72, late 68 to 72. They've technically formed in 68, as we all know.
Yeah.
But by 73, Robert Plant's voice had started to go, and the drugs and the alcohol had started to take their toll. But right in that,
sorry, that's my Robert Plant
right in that 3-year window, it was just. One of their symbols is, it's like a guy with wings flying, basically Icarus flying too close to the sun. Mm-hmm. And that just sums up Led Zeppelin so perfectly. And Robert Plant's voice in particular, because he was drinking and smoking and he didn't warm up before shows. Like, he famously didn't warm up. And he was screaming and belting all the way to the moon and the stars every single night. Mm-hmm. And then by the time he was 25, it was like, oh, all of a sudden his voice didn't work anymore. And he became an effective singer. He learned to operate in his limitations, but it was like they just burned so brightly, and then things had to change.
Yeah.
And I remember my girlfriend in college, Amanda, who is legitimately maybe the most talented musician I've ever met in my entire life. She once asked me, like, as a hypothetical question, like, if you could be one person at any place in time, who would you be? And I said, Robert Plant, 1971. And then she made me explain. And I said, well, he was like 23 years old. He had all the women and drugs and sex in the world that he could ever want. And he had an unbelievable natural ability. And she said, but would that really make you happy? And I said, yes, of course it would. So for that one shining moment, like Led Zeppelin achieved, and it's encapsulated in the 6 album run, but also this land of decadence that they created. They, at least for themselves, created perfection. It was not sustainable, but they probably had more fun for a very short period of time than anybody else has. And there's one other weird story. Is we've talked on the show about how I'm basically afraid of everything. I'm a very neurotic man with a lot of phobias. Jimmy Page, Zeppelin's guitarist, there was a Japanese tour they were on. Also, if you're a Zeppelin bootleg fan, the 71 and 72 Japan tours, mwah, mwah. Oh, they were on fire.
Okay, all right, let's move along. Come on.
But he talked about how he was in this hotel, and he was on whatever he was on, and he looked out the window, and there was like an air conditioning thing. He's like on the 30th floor, and he was like, I bet I could climb over there and sit there for a while. And he did, and it was like he just, no safety precautions or whatever. He just felt so on top of the world that it just wasn't even a thing for him to crawl out on this just, little crummy tin air conditioning unit that was shaking, and he just sat there for an hour. I'm like, now for a guy like me, Jesus Christ. I was like, Jimmy Page was so close to just plummeting to his death at the height of his powers. I mean, that blows my mind that was the attitude they had. They really felt indestructible. And on these 6 albums that I mentioned, they really were. Every single one of them is perfect, except for the song The Crunge on Houses of the Holy. Worst Zeppelin song, totally sucks. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't listen to it. Skip it. Other than that, it's great.
And if Jimmy Page would have died off that air conditioner, who would date women in their 20s in the modern age? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I think James Woods would be glad to take up that mantle. So, Nathan, I was gonna only give you 2 points, but you mentioned was Black Sabbath, and
yes.
What was the band before them you mentioned?
A little rock and roll group from London called the Rolling Stones.
Okay, so you've introduced me to 2 bands today, which I'm gonna go give those guys a listen. So that's 3 points for just spreading knowledge, which I love that. And I'm not a musician, and I can only do the just for like a little bit, which doesn't count for like a whole song. So I'm not gonna give you 2 bonus points for that because I wouldn't be able to do this hot streak. So very nice number 4 though, Brian. Over to you, my dude.
All right, thank you, Mitch. That is a great impression of Robert Plant stubbing his toe.
Thank you. Yes.
What a nightmare it would be to live with him. Anyway, my number 4 is my overnight roulette session from 2019. Now, what makes this fascinating is I don't gamble the way professional gamblers gamble. Okay. What do I got? I got like $40.
Yeah.
All right. I've never played this table before. Let's see what happens. So this would have been probably only like the second or third time I had the courage to go sit at a table, not go sit at an electronic machine. I'm like, I want to try it. It's late at night. Who cares? I sat down at about midnight to 12:30. This would have been at Four Winds, New Buffalo in Michigan.
Okay.
Sat down, put $40 down, started playing. I was playing for about 2 hours. Okay. And then I kind of got up to like maybe $200 or something. And then we were playing a little bit longer and then it kind of went down again. And then the table hot streak hit. For over 12 spins in a row, the ball landed in the first 12 numbers.
Whoa.
Consistently.
12 times 12. I love that. That symmetry there.
So it was like, I was so nervous. I'm not throwing out bets the way people usually do. They start throwing things, blah, blah, blah. And every single gambler at the table is like, it's going to switch. It's going to go to the other dozens, guys. It's going to end. And I'm like, if you just put $1 down, you'll get 35 back. So put $1 on every 12 and you'll make 20 something dollars every spin, you morons.
Yeah.
So that's what I started doing. I was like, if I keep riding the streak and it eventually ends, I would have lost $12 at the end of that, even though it was a $15 table. So every spin you had to put down at least 15. So I'm just picking random numbers in the first 12 and then start covering the streets. So 1, 2, 3, you could just bet those 3 numbers or whatever. So I'm just throwing chips there all the time. 2.5 hours later, I've turned $40 into $440 and I walk away.
Wow.
And it was the most exciting streak on the table. Everyone was having fun. The dealer was having fun. The pit boss caught onto it and switched the dealer, and it still kept landing in the first 12. And it was like there was no cheating going on. It was just dumb luck, and everyone was enjoying it at the same time, the crew included, which was like, how cool is that?
This is bringing a tear to my eye as someone with a lifelong gambling problem. This just these are the things I get up in the morning for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
so it was,
Brian, what's
go ahead.
your number that you play in roulette? Is it in the first dozen, or did you switch? For this this session?
So it's probably been too early for me to have numbers. None
Okay.
of my true. I mean, 8 and 10, I would probably play.
Okay.
8, 10, 11, I like in the first. But my favorite numbers are 17, 20, 23, and 34.
Okay. 17.
I play 17, I play 23, I play 33 and 34. Oh my gosh, this is guys, we have reached the apex of Uber Cinco. Brian and I play the same roulette numbers.
And there's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just been like I've happened to hit those the most when I've sat down. 17, 20, and 23 are fairly close to each other on the wheel. So I just hopefully it'll land in that section and we'll see what happens. And if I'm playing at a table where a lot of people are playing and nobody's played 23, I'll put 3 or 4 chips on 23 for the GOAT just to make sure it's covered.
Mm-hmm.
8 times out of 10 it hits.
Yeah. Oh,
When
8
nobody
times
else
out of 10.
yeah, when nobody
you heard
else
it here first, folks.
when nobody else
8
plays
times
it.
out of 10 on the roulette wheel.
Spoken.
You're gonna break Vegas now.
Spoken
When
like
the
a man
table's
who has
full.
3 hotel stays waiting for him in Vegas.
Yes. So that is not a scientific ratio, but take it to the bank.
Take it to the bank. Okay, so I mean, obviously, 23, as you said, Jordan. 33, Scottie Pippen. Who's 34 for Nathan?
When I was a senior in high school, we combined forces with another school for our basketball team. So my home jersey was the Roseville 33. Or no, that was the away jersey, and the home jersey, I wore the Yorkwood, and they didn't have 33, so I wore 34.
Oh, strange. What a weird number not to have in the state of Illinois as a high school team.
Yeah, I was really fucking pissed off.
Wait, so 34 would have been wait, no. Or did you wear 33 for Patrick Ewing? Or was it for Scottie Pippen?
It was for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, it was for Kareem. Oh, okay.
No, Scottie Pippen, all the way. Everybody knows.
Everyone knows. Brian, were you drinking at all during this run?
I was not, actually.
You didn't have any. You didn't have one single Red Bull and gin.
I probably was drinking before I sat down, but I didn't get off the table for 4.5 hours.
Mitch, you're not the compulsive gambler that Brian and I are. You don't understand the natural high you can get off watching that ball bounce along the wheel. You
Also,
don't need any
As I
enhancement.
said, I started at 12:30, and if either of you boys know, alcohol makes me sleepy. So that's like a bad choice for me. Like after midnight, if I started just getting whiskeys and stuff and sitting there, I would have been passed out at the table. Sir, you need to leave now.
Yeah,
We'll wheel you to your room.
The only time I've played roulette all night, I was just betting whatever, like, half and half, or whatever, just to, like, stay at the table. And I just was like just trying to chat up the dealer and other people at the table so much the dealer had to ask me to like stop talking so much. So he was like, "We're here to gamble, not fucking chit chat. Shut up."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, the conversation depends. It depends if you got a chatty table or not. If you don't have a chatty table,
I was an
Don't do it.
annoying ass motherfucker, I'm sure, because I was like, 24 and drunk. So,
I believe I've told on the show before the time I was playing at Bellagio next to a woman from Minnesota who had the thickest accent ever. And that was a great conversation because then these random people started coming to the table that were just coming in halfway through. But she was the one who was saying, she's like, "When's your birthday?" And I was like, "It's the 28th." And she put like $15 on the 28th. And I'm like, "I'll join you." And I put like $10 on there. Boom, it hit. Big celebration.
Wow.
This is like, "Oh, it's time to walk." And she's like, "I'm going to stay." I was like, "You do that." I'm leaving. It was an expensive table. I had to cash out and go home.
I remember New Year's Eve 2008 to 2009, I spent at the Catfish Bend Casino in Burlington, Iowa.
Oh.
And a friend of mine, we were riding over there, a friend of mine that I grew up with, her name's Megan. She hadn't been to a casino before. And she was like, "Well, what am I going to do when I get in there?" And I knew the layout of the casino. So I said, "Okay, Megan, you're going to get in here. They're going to card us. We're going to walk in. There's going to be the slots here, the tables here. Over to the left, you're going to see a sign that says women. You're going to walk in there. and you're going to take $1 at a time, and you're going to flush it down the toilet. And you are going to have just as much fun as everybody else.
That's about right.
Yep, that's about right. Brian, I'm going to give you 3 points for this because I love stories about people winning cash, and that's what that whole story was about. So,
and you could do it too, Mitch.
And I could do it too, so that's 2 bonus points as well. So we're going back to Nathan now for his number 3. Brian, did you have something to add in? Sorry.
I just wanted to make sure you only risk $40 at a time. Do not.
Oh, yes.
Please do not put $1,000 on 23. We are not liable. Trademark UBK Studios 2021. So,
Nathan, your number 3, please.
I'm going with an actor.
Really?
An actor who just was on fire in the 1970s, and his entire career was gold. John Cazale.
Whoa, stare down. Okay, so today's stare down is actor v actor. Brian, let us know about your legendary actor that you chose.
I did not have John Cazale, but I do have Tom Hanks, 92 to 04.
Wow. Okay, so Nathan, I know we've talked about Cazale's run before on this show, so I'm hoping you bring us a couple little extra nuggets here for your hot streak description here. I just want to put that out there before you start, just get that in your brain, put that in your nugget sack up top, and give me your take.
Well, I'll run it down chronological order, and I'm not gonna talk very much on this because our listeners have heard me ramble on about The Godfather Part 2 before, but. Which is John Cazale,
which is the third best of the series. We know it goes 3-1-2, obviously. Dadoy. Okay. I'm sorry for wasting everyone's time. Nathan, please proceed.
John Cazale's first movie was The Godfather, which, what a debut. Then he was in The Conversation, then The Godfather Part 2, then Dog Day Afternoon, also with Al Pacino. He really was just hanging around with a couple of guys. And then he was in The Deer Hunter. Which, have either of you seen The Deer Hunter?
I saw it way too young. I was like 10 when my dad showed it to me, and I was scarred and don't remember a lot of it. But
I saw it for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I'm 35, and I was way too young. It is the most depressing movie in the history of time. And also, I found it amazing that the director of The Deer Hunter, Michael Cimino, then made a movie called, I think, Heaven's Gate, which is regarded as one of the worst movies in the history of time. And it ruined his career, and what an industry where you can make something that's regarded as an absolute classic, and then everybody finds out you have no talent about 6 weeks later. That's the movies, folks.
Yep.
So, anyways, John Cazale was playing Fredo. He plays these very vulnerable characters. He brings humanity into these dark stories, but also always a little bit of humor.
High hairline too. Lot of high hairlines.
The high hairline.
Yeah.
The highest of hairlines. A very strangely shaped skull, but he made The Deer Hunter while he knew he had terminal cancer.
Wow.
And just to top this off for everybody, he was on this unbelievable hot streak. Every single one of these movies nominated for Best Picture. Every movie he ever made.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
And he did this all while being engaged to Meryl Streep, the greatest actor of all time.
Oh, that is...
So who got?
Amazing.
So did they meet each other at Yale or something? Is that what it was? Do you know, or is it just in the Hollywood pleasure pits?
I think they may. I actually couldn't get a definitive answer on this. I was looking up, but I think they may have met on the Deer Hunter shoot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shit. Wow.
Okay.
I mean,
also
that's
in the Deer Hunter.
That's a pretty solid run there. Okay, so you said, is it 5 movies total? Is that you said?
5. Yep.
Okay, so after. It was a Godfather, The Conversation. Yep. He's heating up. And then Godfather 2, right?
Right.
He's on fire. That man can't miss a three-pointer. He's blocking every attempt from the other team. Brian, over to you for your number 2.
My number 2, Tom Hanks. I have this for longevity.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to look up here his because
there's some holes in this list. You sent me the list. There's some holes in this one here.
Now, here's how I'm going to go. I'm just going to read them in order because I say it starts with A League of Their Own for me, and I believe the streak ends at The Terminal.
Okay, here. Also, Brian, I'm going to
Go
add
ahead.
on an extra challenge for you, okay?
Yes.
In my opinion, when you're going through this list, when you list off a movie that I think is a hole in this list, say, list the movie and go, big hole, okay? All right, and then-
Got it.
All right.
All right. 1992, A League of Their Own. 1993, Sleepless in Seattle. Big hole. 93, Philadelphia. 94, Forrest Gump. 95, Apollo 13. 95, Toy Story. 96, That Thing You Do. Big hole. 98, Saving Private Ryan. 98, You've Got Mail. Big hole. 99, Toy Story 2. 99, Green Mile. 2000, Castaway. 02, Road to Perdition. 02, Catch Me If You Can. 04, Lady Killers. Big hole. And 04, The Terminal.
Okay,
You shouldn't have
were
included
very-
04. 04 is toss that out.
Okay. Mitch, am I close?
You got everything except the Green Mile. That
You
was
don't
a big
like the
hole.
Green Mile.
That was a big hole in my book. But for getting, was it 75% or 80%? I think that's pretty good. So I will continue to listen to your take.
Yeah. So my take is like whether this movie was made for us or not, it contributed to him being this leading man for this long.
Mm-hmm.
Sleepless in Seattle and That Thing You Do are the only two I haven't seen personally on this.
I love
And-
That Thing You Do. I think that's a fun movie.
That's
That was
his
also
first
good.
writing. That's his
Yeah.
first writing credit too, which is why I included it because I think that's important for Tom Hanks to be able to continue this run. And I know Lady Killers is a not popular choice at all. I enjoyed that the first time I saw it. I saw it when I was 14, and he's just nuts in it. He's just bananas of a character, and that weird laugh that he does. I love it.
Yeah.
So
I know I'm supposed to be competing against Brian, but I actually have to bolster his case here. Is in the midst of this, he also was heavily involved in Band of Brothers in the year 2000.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the best TV series ever made.
Yes, he has a brief role in that. I didn't include it because he was more on
And-
yeah.
Did you include the Toy Story movies in there?
I did 1 and 2
Yeah.
are in this run here. And
Yeah.
then I ended with The Terminal because I think The Terminal is one of the most underrated Tom Hanks movies. If you haven't seen it again, it's very heartstring pulley, but because it is remnant of the Sleepless in Seattle type rom-com things, but it's shot by Janusz Kaminski. So it's like the most pretty way you would ever see an airport that
Mhm.
fits this story that's very pretty about a guy who's only trying to fulfill the goal his father had, which is just
Brian.
pretty.
Brian, I've seen some fucking pretty airports in my day. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
this is-
no one could shoot the hell out of an airport like Janusz. So that's The Terminal is, I think, kind of ends this streak here. But at the 12-year streak,
yeah,
that's a pretty good acting streak,
yeah,
I would have to say.
yeah.
Most of those, I would have no problem sitting down, rewatching several times and not getting bored of them. A couple of them, we know, big holes. But overall, I'm playing roulette on this. Pretty good odds.
Yeah, you're leaving up for sure after
Yes.
a night of Tom Hanks gambling. See now there's one thing that both of these, there's a weakness in both of these, in that actors are such a small part of a movie that like they don't have as much control over it. And I know that you can say, oh, gambling, you don't have as much control over it as well, but you still have to make the number choice or play the cards, whatever it is. So neither of you would get a full 3 points normally for this, but of course it's a stare down, so I have to give someone 3 points. And I think only because this is a very simple reason. Tom Hanks is the lead in all of these and is leading a number of these projects or putting them together. I'm going to give Brian the edge here, even though there were some holes in there. But as a supporting actor, you're just kind of an add-on, you know. So I know that's just like a super logical, kind of boring, very intelligent way to approach it, but that's how I do it when I host. So Brian, you're getting the 3 points. Nathan, better luck next time, right? 'Cause that's what a hot streak's all about.
Yep.
But I could absolutely do what John Cazale did. So I'm going to give Nathan 2 bonus points. I don't know if I could do what Tom Hanks did.
I would love to see Mitch with his cute little Minnesota accent as Fredo. I'm smart. I'm not dumb. I'm smart. Come on, I'm smart.
Come on, you guys, come on. I'm pretty smart here.
I broke your heart? I broke your heart? Nuh-uh.
Let me go out to Vegas. I'll make sure all of this is just right and right as rain when you get out there, you know? Come on. Hey, whose hands do you want the quality of the buffet in, huh? Who's me? I know how to do a good buffet. Here we go. All right. That was Nathan's number 3. Brian, your number 2 has been taken care of. So, Brian, we have to go back to your number 3. Give us that before we move on.
So my number 3, I did pick a director.
Okay.
And it is a shorter hot streak. It's a 3-movie run.
Okay.
But I think they are 3 classics. And I love going back to these. I picked Penny Marshall, 1988 to 1992. So we got 2 Hanks in here as well. So we're going with Big, Awakenings, and then A League of Their Own. 3 very different movies.
Okay.
But all very, very solid movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I could have made this before last week because I saw Awakenings for the first time. It popped up on a streaming thing. I had never seen it. I've heard so much about it. I'm like, how have I not seen this movie? And I watched it in bed while Jenny was sleeping because I could not fall asleep. So I turned it on. And I'm sitting there weeping in bed watching Awakening. And I'm like, oh my God. They don't figure it out again. Oh my God. So awesome performance by Robert De Niro, Robin Williams in that. Then you got Hanks, one of my favorite movies as a kid, Big. I mean, everything that leads up to that piano scene in the FAO Schwartz or whatever it is, like, come on, pure classic. Who doesn't want to be a big kid? And work for a toy store for a living, and then have weird sexual encounters while you're like 13 with whatever.
There's a lot of dark storylines from 80s films that seem way more.
And then you go hardcore drama with Awakenings, which is just awesome. And then A League of Their Own was something I remember watching when I was a kid and being like, I like this Hanks guy. I remember watching that and being like, oh, this is cool. Oh, that's what's her face from Free Willy. Because that's where I knew she was from. And like, oh, Gina Davis, she's from Stuart Little. And like, this is how I'm connecting it at that point. And then when I rewatched it as an adult, I'm like, oh yeah, it is a really good movie, you dumbass kid.
I'm looking at the Awakenings Wikipedia page. Vin Diesel is in Awakenings.
Is he really?
It says Vin Diesel. He must have been. Vin Diesel appears in. So what? This came out in 1990. So okay, he would have been about in his like early 20s. Vin Diesel.
Wow.
Okay, that
they had a lot of people. A lot of extras.
Wait. Vin Diesel is.
Well, you remember you remember the big car crash scene in Awakenings where it goes over the bridge and somebody flies out shooting a machine gun. That was Vin Diesel.
Yeah, it's the opening.
Yeah. Okay. Doesn't he he shoots the guy and then he lands and rolls and he gets up and he goes, "Welcome back to the movies," and then he's like,
"Now you're family."
Brian, what are some other Penny Marshall movies that you've seen, and like, why do you think this little crop is better than some other work?
Because this is the hot streak that I like. The rest of them, I don't think there is a streak after this. I never saw Renaissance Man. I never saw some of her other stuff after this.
Okay.
It's this realm of Penny Marshall is what like really fits like what I would like and or experience because of my age.
Okay.
So if I would have seen Awakenings probably earlier in my life, this would have been a no-brainer.
Sure.
But because of more recent viewings, it's definitely solidified. And I'm like, the fact that is the bridging movie between these 2 other movies I really like. And for a director to have 3 hot movies in a row that are so vastly different,
that's true.
I think is a pretty legitimate streak. Well, awards aside, I'm talking about longevity in terms of people considering them to be classics and all that. To have 3 really good classics in a row, I think is really difficult to do.
That is a very good point. I was gonna say maybe I could do this, but I don't know if I could do Big and then Awakenings and then A League of Their Own. I think that'd be a tough lift for me as a person. So I'm not gonna give you bonus points there.
Fair enough.
And maybe I should have more self-confidence, but I've never directed a major motion picture before. So
and none of us are gonna be Penny Marshall, that's for sure.
Well,
Maybe he could be Gary Marshall.
I was going to say one of my favorite hot streaks is Gary Marshall's insert day hot streak.
Correct.
You know,
Those
whatever.
you could do in your
Yeah.
sleep. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Also, did Gary Marshall did he direct Wahlberg's Patriots Day? Did he do that one? No, he didn't. I'm kidding. That's
I was going to say, sounds like a Pete Berg movie.
okay, Brian, I'm giving you 2 points for this one for your Penny Marshall hot streak. We're gonna go back over to Nathan for his number 2. Hen and Fence, slide us that greasy one right now, please.
Well,
They used to say that in badminton all the time.
yeah. Here comes the greasy one, folks. Here comes one greasy shuttlecock.
Get it on a T-shirt.
So, I mean, this is in any normal universe, this
Sure.
would be the obvious number one for any human being who
Okay.
has been aware of life. It's from 1991 to 1998. If Michael Jordan played a full season, the Chicago Bulls won the NBA championship. They didn't lose. They didn't lose to anybody. There's not much more to say. They didn't lose.
Okay.
They did not lose.
Okay, hold on.
They didn't lose.
Hold on. Okay. You can count 90 to 93 or whatever, or 91, 92, 93. That's a streak. 96,
Yes.
97, 98. That's a streak. You
Yes.
can't pick and choose. You can't just slice out the middle of something and be like, oh, this is one big streak now all of a sudden. I
But you
take
can't say big hole.
But you can because the guy wasn't there. He wasn't playing. So
now hold on. Now we know this too. The reason he left was because he'd been having some big hot streaks at some casinos, right? He was gambling too much.
no.
And he was
No.
gambling on NBA games, and David Stern said, Michael, time to cool your heels for just a season or two. Give someone else a chance to win.
That makes so much sense. This theory
Yes, it
makes
does.
so much sense because David Stern hated may he rest in peace. He hated making money, and nobody made him more money than Michael Jordan. So he definitely would want Michael Jordan to not play basketball.
Well, no, see, now the headlines were cooling on Michael, so he needed a way to bring back the heat to Michael's name. So he says, let's leave him out of the game for a little bit. He'll go and fix his gambling problem because he's been betting on basketball games too much. He'll go play baseball for a year. Right? This is all true. I read this somewhere. Absolutely.
this is God. I hate this. Out of all the conspiracy theories, this is the one I hate the most.
I mean, shouldn't we just ask the questions though, at the very least, just to get to the answers? Like,
I mean, yeah, it has nothing to do with the fact that his father was murdered. That he might, go off the rails a little bit. Yeah,
and do a lot of gambling,
That
and so he
doesn't
started
play.
gambling on basketball games, right? Against his. Was that?
I love watching.
I hate the fact that I'm going to even respond to this, but I guess I have to. But no, I'm not going. I'm not going to. It would be too. It would be too much. It would be too much if I pointed out the fact that there were no basketball games played between his last game and his father being murdered, so there was nothing to bet on. It would make too much sense.
Okay. Well, so okay.
Oh, also
Yes.
all right here. I'm coming up with this on the fly.
Yep.
On the fly.
Okay, on the fly.
There's a bridge between the 91 to 93 and the 96 to 98, and that is, of course, that he made the greatest American film of all time, Space Jam. Boom. There we go. Hot streak. Hot streak.
The greatest live action plus animated 65-minute commercial in the history of McDonald's and Nike and Coca-Cola.
It is really short. When I watch it, I'm like, this is barely an hour 10. Like, what happened?
Hey,
Yep.
Bill Murray and Wayne Knight are fantastic in that movie, and I don't care what anybody says.
Actually, okay, here. This is the one thing that's going to save you on Space Jam. Bill Murray is wearing a St. Paul Saints hat in it, which is my hometown, St. Paul. And Saints were the local independent minor league team. So you're going to get a point back from there, which will give you 1 point for this whole thing. But honestly, with how diluted the league was at that point, how little talent there was in the Eastern Conference, I could have done this. And so you're going to get 2 bonus points.
Actually, I'm actually fine with that because fuck you, Reggie Miller.
I hope your blood is boiling, Nathan. Okay, let's go back to Brian. Brian, you give us your number one. start the last round here. Give it to me
All right.
good. Slide
My
me that
number-
icy one, baby. Come on, make it cold.
All right, here comes a well-greased shuttlecock right for your
There you
face.
go.
This is my number one hot streak
Okay.
because it still affects us today.
Oh,
That is Genghis Khan.
I love it.
All right. Now, he and his immediate descendants ended up ruling 11 to 12 million contiguous miles from the Pacific to the Caspian Sea. So ruling that much land in Asia is actually more than the entire continent of Africa.
Wow.
One dude figured this out in whatever 60-something years of life before he died. That's impressive enough because it's bigger than the Roman Empire. It's bigger than the Greek Empire. It's bigger than all this shit. And now his hot streak had nothing, had a lot to do with the land, but he continued it. He took it from the battlefield to the bedroom, both willfully and forcefully. We are not debating his ethics or character here, but just the length of said hot streak. To this day, 1 in 200 men are related to him.
Wow.
Now, that affects us to this day. That's a long hot streak. Not even just that. 1 in 200 adult males are related to him. His last known direct living ruling descendant was removed by force in 1920.
Holy shit. And
Where was that?
Yeah, where was that? Do you know where that was?
There was not a lot of details about this because I was somewhere obviously in southern Asia there, but I don't know if it was just a small town or whatever. But either way, it was believed he had 20,000 direct descendants
Oh my God.
from his conquests. And this person was removed from force in 1920. He died. Genghis Khan died in 1227, I believe.
Jesus Christ.
So
I have a question about this.
yes.
If either of you have a theory, I would love to hear it. But you said he was in control.
8 to 9 inches, probably.
You said he was in control of this enormous landmass. But back then, I could have said I was in control of something 1,000 miles away because the communication, it's like you actually don't know what's going on over there. Like they could be burning your picture
See, this is why I think it's more of a longevity winning streak. Hey, I'm going to keep going west. And I won. So now I'm going to keep going. Therefore, everything behind me is mine. And whether that stayed that way or not, it's like, well, yeah, you ended up winning the furthest. Whether you were still actually in command is a whole nother thing.
I've just always been fascinated by this idea, like this mindset of, ancient, people on their conquests. It's like, what are you actually doing? Because you have literally no idea what's happening 1,000 miles behind you.
And
So
I read a very truncated history of this obviously this is just a dumb podcast, but there was
Hey.
we are not history. We are not giving you facts here, folks.
We are
here
making
for
history right here.
We are
as you
making
speak.
it and being fun. But I'm sorry, I did not read a full dissertation on Genghis Khan
It's
before
okay.
this.
That's okay.
But there were some things where he would go after the lower class of an area he was trying to rule, being like, hey, here's the deal. Let's be civil about this. If not, we're going to kill you. And then if he was either double crossed or whatever, he would just take all their peasants and make them soldiers for him. Therefore, they had nobody to rule. So it was like, you're ours now. We'll feed you. That's why you see me as boss.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
this guy was out of his mind. Wow.
Well, yeah. And what's funny is they technically, I think, only recognize like 4 sons from his first marriage as like his actual sons.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they said he had over 50 wives in his life.
He must
now
have been
those are
like just
people he considered wives, not people he had procreated with.
Sure.
But to do the math for as many people as he affected, he basically had to be having sex about 5 to 10 times a day with 5 to 10 different women.
The amount of tiger bones that had been dried and ground into dust, and he was snorting for the virility just to do all that must have been. I mean, he must have been just powder all over his nostrils constantly.
I mean, that's a triple hot streak then. I mean,
That's true. Yeah.
Dude's high for like 60 something years. He's got a bunch of kids. He's got a bunch of land, he thinks.
Yeah.
And we're still talking about him today. That's a pretty
Yeah.
damn long hot streak, I say.
It's always shocking when you hear like how much drugs had a part in like keeping armies going, you know?
Oh yeah.
They're like, "Oh my god, how did that mob do that?" And like, well, they were all high on meth for 5 days straight. You know, it's like they were just eating.
Chinese invented opiates.
Yeah,
It's pretty easy to keep a bunch of soldiers dependent.
Yeah.
Oh
boy. Whew.
Are any of you boys watching Dope Sick by any chance on Hulu right now?
No.
I highly recommend it. One, Michael Keaton at the helm there about the OxyContin epidemic, and it is horrifying. But probably explains a lot of what Genghis Khan did. So
yeah.
There you go.
Brian, intense, historical. I'm going to give you sorry. Oh my gosh. Sorry, Nathan, you need to give me your number one. I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. Give us your number one. Slide us that greasy one, my dude.
All right. So we had a little fun on my number two, talking about this Michael Jordan character.
Yep.
You know, who some misguided people would call the greatest American athlete of all time. These fools.
Karl Malone, number one. Sorry, keep
There's
going.
one man who puts all of this to shame. Can you imagine a world where there is an athlete, a competitor, a champion who competes at his state level and wins 35 years in a row?
Oh my God.
And then goes to the national competition and wins 18 out of 20 years. I am talking about the GOAT, the legend, the greatest competitor in any area in sports or intellectual competition, anything. The GOAT, Frank the Tank Henenfent, 35 straight corn husking competition wins. This man is the greatest American athlete who has ever lived. Babe Ruth, I don't think so. Muhammad Ali, get out of here. Michael Jordan, whatever. It's over. Frank Henenfent has won 35 straight Illinois State corn husking competitions, and none of them have been close. And he has won 18 out of 20 national competitions. And I would argue very, very fervently for hours on end that the only reason he lost was because of weather conditions. Okay? The weather conditions are very important in corn husking. And the fact that he has not deviated from his statistics, because the weather's different every year, boys, and he's still won that many times, means he is the unquestionable greatest of all time. My Uncle Frank, the greatest cornhusker who has ever lived.
For people who aren't from East Jesus Nowhere, can you explain what a corn husking competition is?
Well, Brian, corn husking is a competition on who can husk the most corn. And
can you give us a little bit of detail on this? Is he driving a tractor? Is he flying through a field? I mean, is he just...
Well,
what's he doing?
Some of the more poetic journalists have described him as flying through the field as he's husking the corn. But so you're in the field. This is how you used to harvest corn. You wear a metal hook on the hand, which I believe I have been made fun of on this show for owning before.
Yes.
You pull the husk off the ear. You snap the ear out of the stalk. You toss it past your own human ear into a wagon, and then you move on. Sometimes pulled by horses, other times by a tractor. If you want to, poo-poo on tradition, But this used to be a competition back in like the 20s and 30s. They would have 100,000 people would show up to these contests.
Damn.
And the winners would get marriage proposals from like lots of women, because these are like, these are the guys who can really,
He's got quick
take care of a
hands.
family. Well, great with their hands, and they can also, provide for a family. Yeah. And then of course, the war happened, and another thing called technology happened, and so it became completely useless. But then my Uncle Bill Gillen and some other people, it's my grandma's brother, old Uncle Bill, he and some people revived the contests, and they happen in when I say national champion, I mean 8 states. There are 8 states that revived the competition, which is still going. And my Uncle Frank, under the tutelage of Uncle Bill, learned the trade and then became the most dominant force in the history of American competition. And I would argue even the world.
Nice.
I would, even though he said it's just 8 states, I wouldn't poo-poo that because, the World Series, we're just one of, 200 and some countries. So saying national championship, I think you can be proud in saying that because not every state grows corn.
I'm not afraid of if New Hampshire wants to send a Cornhusker over this way, I'll take them on personally. I'm not afraid of that.
I mean, you're talking about a state just riddled with meth. Yeah, New Hampshire, send your best meth guy over here. Frank will kick his ass. Easy peasy.
Legitimately, one of the proudest moments of my life was 2006. I participated in the men's open class of the Cornhusking. I myself am a state Cornhusking champion, but in this particular year, myself and my cousin Andrew, who is Uncle Frank's son, we entered the same class as Uncle Frank in the contest because we wanted to finish 1, 2, and 3, and we did. And so we have a picture. The 3 best Cornhuskers in the state of Illinois was Uncle Frank, my cousin Andrew, and me, and that is a very proud moment for our family.
All hen and fence. All the time.
Yep,
that's awesome.
And also, I have to shout out my sister, who has won about several state champions in the women's division.
Dang. I have a question here. Compared to the Huskers in the pre World War I even or post World War I, before World War II, a lot of W's there. How does their poundage compare to Frank's poundage?
Are we talking about Cornhusking? No, Frank would still be at the top of the pile. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So you're saying if Frank was alive in 1918, he'd have 35 virgin milkmaids throwing themselves at his feet to marry him?
He would, but I don't know if he would want to go back because he's used to having 70.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's a nice little way to end it. Always with numbers. We love quick math here. 35 plus 35, 70. Thank you. That's one for me. My first point of the game today. Okay, guys, I have to tally up these scores. That means you have to talk amongst yourselves, which I will give you a topic. How long is the perfect amount of time to what's the perfect amount of time to write a heartfelt letter? All right, go for that.
It's got to be 5 minutes. You got to have 1 minute of prep, 2 minutes of writing, 2 minutes of editing, and 1 minute of debating on whether or not you're going to send it.
Yeah.
The self-doubt is the last minute. That's the most important part.
I'm going to say 6 minutes. I need a little bit more time for doubt. That's me right there.
All right, you guys, that was great hearing about your writing letter capabilities. And now I have the final scores here.
Hey!
In a tight one, a tight, high-scoring affair today. Brian, you are our champ today. You scored 17 to Nathan's 15. Actually, I'm so sorry. Wait, no. I couldn't do Genghis Khan, and I could not do Uncle Frank either. Let's be honest. I've tried, not happening. So yes, 17 to 15. Brian, you are a victor today. Congratulations. I hope you are very proud of yourself, because you should be. Because I am. This is now you're starting a streak right now. Think of it like that. Starting a hot streak. Okay, now it's time for the Fast Five, boyos. Here we go. The Fast Five today. Top 5. Tiffany and Co. items for that special someone. Do you guys both know what Tiffany is? I just want to ask that up top.
We are aware, yeah.
Okay.
Overpriced jewelry. Got it.
No. No.
A blue box.
Classic American brand. Yes, with Tiffany Blue. Okay, number 5. The Tiffany Save the Wild Lion brooch. 18K rose gold with round, brilliant diamonds. This 2-inch tall brooch of a proud African lion is for the nature lover in your life. Help save the lions by wearing this brooch to your cousin's spring brunch, where you can make it clear how awful that one dentist from Minnesota was for killing Cecil. Knowing full well Tiffany & Co. has your back in saving the wild Serengetis and its apex predator. The Tiffany Lion brooch. It roars back at the world that you care, but lets you off the hook for having to go and do something. The Lion brooch, a perfect Thanksgiving gift, is yours now for $2,900. Number 4, the airplane bank. Every young boy in your life wanted to be a pilot at some point, right? There's no better feeling than the independence and freedom of the skies. But every little future pilot has to start somewhere. So start them here, as Tiffany Baby Designs bring a modern twist to classic toys and childhood favorites. Crafted of sterling silver with striking attention to detail, this airplane bank makes a charming first savings account. Teach the boy in your life who only wants wings the value of $1 and a hard day's work with this spirited change bank. Land it in his hangar for only $3,200. Number 3. The American Walnut Sugar Shovel. Everyone knows somebody who just can't get enough Java. Brian, you know what I'm talking about. And the Tiffany blue accent adds a whimsical touch to the sterling silver and American Walnut Sugar Shovel. Perfect for shoveling that sweet, sweet white or raw sugar into your morning go juice. Buzz, buzz, buzz! Who wants a cup of hot Java? I'll take it sweet, please. And how sweet this sugar shovel is? A true heritage bargain at $200. Number 2. The sterling silver tin can. Got an architect in your life that desperately needs a random can to put pens and pencils in? Then the Tiffany sterling silver tin can is perfect for your gifting needs. For the person who knows tin cans exist, but aren't sure if they've ever had food out of one before, the Tiffany tin can comes with a thin blue line, no, not that one, to let you know it's Tiffany. Bring this pencil home to your friend's penthouse for a measly $1,100. But wait! Want it to say Archibald's Pens on the side? Custom engraving only requires an appointment with a style consultant and $125. Number 1 on the top 5 Tiffany items for that special someone, the sterling silver greenhouse. Got a green thumb? Love the idea of growing your own tomatoes? Perhaps you can't get enough basil in your chef-prepared Italian pasta dishes, like spaghetti? Then the Tiffany greenhouse just might be the perfect icebreaker for all those conversations. Built over the course of 9 months and nearly 1,000 hours in the Tiffany Hollowware Workshop, this luxurious design brings unexpected Tiffany style to any space. Time-honored smithing techniques and cutting-edge technology combine to transform a utilitarian item into a modern work of art. Standing at almost 18 inches high and nearly 27 inches long, this gleaming greenhouse will make your Polo Club friends ask, "Is that a small replica of a larger greenhouse?" And you'll smile back as you spin around with your Boulevardier cocktail saying, "Why, yes, it is. Isn't it resplendent? The famous Lothario Mitch Brinkman just gave it to me to celebrate my COVID booster shot. But aren't you not eligible for that yet?" the Polo friends will ask. You'll drain the liquor from your gold-lined coupe glasses, you say with a grin, and it only cost him $275,000. That's less than my 5 years at Vassar. And that's this week's edition of Über Cinco. Please rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts. And once again, we love that hearty wom, word of mouth. So tell your friends about us, tell your family about us, send them your favorite episode. Thank you to Nathan for bringing us those hot, greasy takes.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nathan.
Yep.
Anytime.
And my little scoop of gelato.
Your big wet boy, Brian.
And I've been Mitch Brinkman, and as Biz Bear always says, after a kill, start with the glutes. The ass goes bad first. Auf Wiedersehen and adios.
You've just listened to Über Cinco, a production of UBK Studios. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your fine podcasts from.
Do you like what you hear and want to support the show? Please visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/UBK Studios. Every little bit helps us keep the lights on and the bill collectors at bay.
Keep tabs on us on all the social media at UBK Studios, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see that we really are just a bunch of good Midwestern boys.